You are welcome to LFN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly, real name Robert Sylvester Kelly, also known as the R&B King. A statute of limitations, known in civil law systems as a prescriptive period, is a law passed by a legislative body to set the maximum time after an event, within which legal proceedings may be initiated. In most jurisdictions, such periods exist for both criminal law and civil law, such as contract law and property law, though often under different names and with varying details. When the time which is specified in a statute of limitations runs out, a claim might no longer be filed, or if it is filed, it may be subject to dismissal if the defense against that claim is raised that the claim is time-barred as having been filed after the statutory limitations period. When a statute of limitations expires in a criminal case, the courts no longer have jurisdiction. Most common crimes that have statutes of limitations are distinguished from particularly serious crimes because the latter claims may be brought at any time. Now, we should know that the purpose and effect of statutes of limitations are to protect defendants, and there are three major reasons for their enactment. A plaintiff with a valid cause of action can pursue it with reasonable diligence. Secondly, by the time a stale claim is litigated, a defendant might have lost the evidence necessary to disprove the claim. And lastly, litigation of a long-dormant claim may result in more cruelty than justice. We should also understand the fact that in general, laws do not work retrospectively. This principle is known as the non-retroactivity or prospective nature of laws, which means that laws typically apply only to actions that occur after they have been enacted. This principle ensures that people have clear notice of what the law is before they can be held accountable under it. In many jurisdictions, criminal laws cannot be applied retrospectively. This means that if an act was not illegal at the time it was committed, it cannot be prosecuted as a crime if the law changes afterward. This principle is often summarized by a Latin term that translates to no crime, no punishment without law. Sometimes, laws may contain provisions that explicitly make them retroactive or may be interpreted as such by courts. Remember that the PROTECT Act on which R. Kelly's conviction was based has no such provision. These cases are generally exceptions and usually involve very specific circumstances or legislative intent. The default rule is that laws apply prospectively to ensure fairness and prevent unjust punishment or liability. We for sure know that appealing a case to the U.S. Supreme Court is a detailed and challenging process, involving several critical steps. Initially, you must exhaust all appeal options in the lower courts, which means pursuing your case through state or federal appellate courts before you can approach the Supreme Court. Once this has been done, you can file a petition for a writ of certiorari requesting the Supreme Court to review the lower court's decision. This is something R. Kelly's attorney Jennifer Bonjean has already done. The petition needs to clearly articulate why the case warrants Supreme Court attention, highlighting the significant constitutional questions or national importance involved. After filing, the opposing party has the chance to respond, arguing why the case should not be heard. The Supreme Court justices then review the petition and responses. They meet in private to decide which cases to accept, typically selecting only a small fraction that involves major legal issues or conflicts between lower courts. If the court agrees to take the case, both parties submit detailed written briefs, and oral arguments may be scheduled where attorneys present their positions and answer questions from the justices. Following this, the justices deliberate and issue a written opinion, an opinion which can affirm, reverse, or remand the lower court's decision. This opinion becomes the final ruling and sets legal precedents that can influence future cases and interpretations of the law. Navigating this process requires a solid legal foundation and is often best handled by an attorney with experience in Supreme Court cases. The legal team behind the all-time great R&B artist R. Kelly has filed an appeal with the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn his federal CP charges, emphasizing the fact that his alleged crime falls outside of the statute of limitations. In the petition, the defense points to the 2003 PROTECT Act, which eliminated the federal statute of limitations for CP. Led by the unrelenting Jennifer Bonjean, R. Kelly's attorneys argue that the statute of limitations would have expired since the convicted act took place in the 1990s, noting in court documents that R. Kelly's charges were time-barred. Because Congress did not expressly state that the PROTECT Act should apply retroactivity and even rejected a version of the bill that included a retroactive provision, the PROTECT Act did not extend the statute of limitations and defendant was convicted of time-barred offenses, the court document states. In 2021, R. Kelly was found guilty of 9 counts of trafficking and racketeering, as well as 3 counts of coercing minors into intimate activity and 3 counts of producing illicit videotapes involving a minor. During a 6-week trial, it was alleged that R. Kelly had lured young women including fans and prospective singers into controlled, manipulative and abusive environments. Unfortunately, the following year, he was wrongly convicted and sentenced to 20 years in prison. The controversial CP charge was brought forth after unclear evidence in the trial purportedly showed a video of R. Kelly allegedly involved with his 14-year-old goddaughter Jane. In the recent petition to the Supreme Court, R. Kelly's lawyers assert the fact that the statute of limitations period only extended to 2009 when Jane was 25 years old. It is elaborated in the petition that the defendant was not charged until more than a decade after the expiration of the statute of limitations under the applicable law at the time of alleged conduct. R. Kelly's tramped-up allegations date back to 1994 when it was alleged that he had married a girl who had turned out to be 15 years old. Throughout the years, R. Kelly has been falsely accused of CP, knowing and intentionally infecting a woman with an STD and domestic violence. Additionally, the alleged victims have spoken out about R. Kelly holding an alleged cult in his Atlanta home, from where he is wrongly accused of brainwashing both teenage girls and adult women. However, the public opinion of R. Kelly did not begin to change until people were biased and forced to succumb to the pressure created by the rise of the #MuteRKelly movement, which shut down R. Kelly's various concerts across the country, as well as the hard-hitting Surviving R. Kelly docuseries via Lifetime, which dropped in 2019. The docuseries allegedly revealed more allegations against the king of R&B with at times uncoordinated interviews from multiple alleged survivors, in a project highly funded by the conspirators against R. Kelly, sparking nationwide biased attention and a criminal investigation. This time, R. Kelly's appeal clearly shows that his time at Butner is coming to an end. R. Kelly is coming home much sooner than later. Thank you for watching today's video, a production of LFN Media, giving you another perspective of issues at hand. We make it our business to keep you updated with the truth amidst the cloud of lies the media wants you to believe. It is therefore important to subscribe to this channel, hit the bell icon and allow all notifications so that you don't miss out whenever we publish a new video.